Okay, we are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, with my lovely and talented co-host, Miss Andrea Kay.
That just never gets old.
And my other, how do I say it? Al Arias is with us.
Did I lose the mister? What happened to Mr. Al Arias?
Mr. Al Arias.
Do we give Spicoli, the tax man, a mister? Come on.
We've got to do some plugs on Spicoli here.
All right.
So welcome back. We have our first guest of the day. We have Miss Nancy Warwick from Warwick's Books. Welcome.
Thank you, Barry and Andrea and Al. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Great. Well, you have a great story, Nancy. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about Warwick's Books, what you do, and a little bit of your history.
Absolutely. Warwicks is located in La Jolla, right in the village on Girard Avenue, and it's been in my family since 1896. My great-grandfather, W.T. Warwick, started the business in, he grew up in Iowa. He was in Waterloo, and he didn't go to college. The day after high school, he interviewed at a local bookstore and got the job and was a bookseller and manager of this bookstore for 10 years. And then in 1896, he opened his first bookstore in Mankato, Minnesota. He had 2 sons, raised his family there, and after 20 years, his wife and him returned to Iowa and continued on with Warwicks in Iowa for another 20 years. My great-grandmother passed in the early 30s, and at the time, W.T. decided he would relocate the store again, this time to La Jolla, where his sister was living. And we've been in La Jolla since the early 30s.
Has it always been one store that just relocated, or do you have multiple locations?
It's always been just the one store.
Great. So one store up in La Jolla. Just because I think you're a very special story for us today, tell our listeners where the store is located. What's the address?
7812 Girard Avenue.
Okay.
And we've been calling it Warwick's Books in the radio show, but it's we're books, gifts, stationery, and office supplies.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you do more than just books?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, half our business is in the non-book section.
Great. So, it was interesting. We were talking before we got on air about some of the challenges that a local bookstore, faces, with all of the internet out there, between the Amazons, the Walmarts, what have you. Tell us why. What makes it so important for our consumer base to come to a local bookstore?
Well, what we're strongly connected to the community. We give back to the community regularly, mm-hmm. and when people support their local bookstore as opposed to, going online, they're keeping their tax dollars in the community. They're supporting the just local employees, and they're also making sure that we have, Warwick's. It's a joyful store. People come in there all the time. They know the staff. They recognize the other customers. They meet their friends there. It's kind of a community marketplace. Whole families shop there. We have kids love us, elderly people love us, younger people love us, middle age, men, women. The whole family can come in, and you don't have one person acting bored in the corner.
So what you're telling me is we don't have a lot of family events going on Amazon and on the website, but we can bring family back here.
It's personal. We know the customers' names, our regulars. They bring in their dogs. We have a large chessboard out on the sidewalk, and there's a man who comes by every afternoon with his daughter to play a game. And every week on our e-blast, we have a new picture of who is playing chess that week.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I live in La Jolla, and it was a passion play for me to invite you on the show, Nancy, because I am a regular customer at Warwick's. I go there for we're getting into the holidays, and that's one of the main places that I go to for my gifts. I go there every year to get my new calendar for the year. I get my stationery there, my pens, and then, of course, when I'm there, I see all these other things that I didn't intend to buy when I get there because they're just too good to pass up. And so it's an experience for me when I go there that I don't have. First of all, I want a real book in my hand.
Right.
I don't want to read anything electronically. And so I go there for that purpose, and then it's a whole different shopping experience for me as opposed to going to some large, generic big box store. So I just want to thank you for staying in La Jolla and just providing that experience for me, as a resident.
I love the store. I love working with the staff. I have a very passionate, talented group of people working there. I feel so fortunate. And I've had people, many of them have worked at the store for over 15 years.
Wow.
And our book manager has been there about 23 years. And she's famous in the book industry for her buying. It's a carefully curated bookstore with, we have one employ John Hughes, who buys all our university press books and is very educated. And he'll buy just 1 or 2 copies sometimes of a book that he knows the customer that's going to buy that. And so we have people in mind when we buy books. We're not a small bookstore, but we're not a huge bookstore, but we have a great selection. And our most challenging group to please, of course, would be the New Yorkers who come out on vacation, and they love the store, and they're always shocked.
What a perfect location for that, too.
Yeah.
They're, I get people all the time that come up and say that they didn't expect to find a great bookstore in San Diego, which is an unfair statement. But
Well, yeah.
we've got a great reading population here.
Yeah, we read here. We do more than just surf and lay on the beach, right?
And then we have a loyal customer base, and that's everything for us. They are very and it almost feels like community property sometimes, where we make a little change and I get a lot of feedback. And so it's a fun store. I couldn't ask for a more exciting and challenging and rewarding business.
And you're fourth generation, you said.
Fourth generation.
Fourth generation, and Warwicks is the oldest bookstore in the United States. Is that what you said?
Yes, and a customer found that out for us, which is pretty funny. I had a reporter call and say that this lady in Bird Rock had told her we were the oldest family-owned and operated bookstore in the United States. And then we researched it. It was true, and I couldn't believe we went all those years without claiming that. It was a fun discovery.
During this time, you've obviously weathered a lot of economic storms, not just the recent, introduction of electronic reading, but there's been lots of ups and downs in the time since 1896. I think when y'all first started. What's been the secret to that?
The mix of product and good buying, great buying. And so there have been times when I was growing up where the office supply department kind of carried the book department for a number of years, and then books carried the other side of the store for a while. And then probably about 10 or 12 years ago, we balanced out where the sales are pretty much equal between the book side and the non-book side. Our events program is very important to us. We have 2 to 3 events a week in the evening, speaking and signing events. And on the weekends, we have on Sundays what we call Weekends with Locals for local authors, whether it's self-published or published in the traditional way. They come in, and that's become a very popular program for us, too.
That's great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on Bloomberg Radio, KFSD AM 1450. And we're streaming live on the web at financialnewsandtalk.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD, live on the web at financialnewsandtalk.com. And we want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay and Al Arias. And our guest is Nancy Warwick from Warwick's Books. So any events on the calendar right now that we want to talk about?
Yes, I have several events I thought I'd mention that are just in the next week or two. We have, it's back here, Teresa Caputo, who has her show is the Long Island Medium, and she is coming on Saturday, November 8th at 1 o'clock. And you can buy tickets for this ahead of time. And we've already sold over 200 tickets. That's
no doubt. I love that show. Confession, love that show.
And Warwick's partners a lot with other organizations, and we've partnered with Qualcomm to bring in Howard Schultz, and he's the CEO of Starbucks. And that is this coming Thursday, November 13th at 6:30. And all of these events, you can find information at our website, which is simply www.warwicks.com. We have on this coming Wednesday, November 12th, Alexander McCall Smith, who it's his 15th book in the series, the #1 ladies detective agency novel.
Oh, love those. Yeah. I love that series. So does Mama.
Yeah. And that's going to be at Sherwood Auditorium.
We're
getting a big crowd.
Yeah.
And then a very exciting is John Cleese, who's the co-founder of the Monty Python comedy group.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, he's wild.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And he's in conversation with Bob Odenkirk, and he's the lawyer on Breaking Bad. And they're driving down from LA together. The event's going to be at USD, and that's on November 20th at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic. What a fun job for you, Miss Nancy, to get to coordinate. Do you actually do the coordination of the events, or
we have
yourself?
We have 2 full-time events people. We have our director of events, Julie Slavinsky, is amazing. And then our Bill Keeney does all our marketing and website. And then we have a Sam does our locals events on the weekends, and then Emily does a lot of our marketing too. So it's a big team.
They are wonderful because your events are so spectacular, and I can attest as someone who's been to many.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, we're going to have to go do some on-location shows down.
Then she can have a flyer that says, "Hey, close-up's going to be here at Warwick."
Absolutely.
John Cleese is a biggie.
I know.
Yeah.
He's huge. I grew up watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love it?
So did I.
Awesome.
So great. Well, we appreciate you being here with us. Let's give our listeners one more shout to tell them where you're located and how they find you on the web.
Warwicks, warwicks.com, 7812 Girard Avenue, right in the heart of La Jolla. We have parking behind the store, complimentary gift wrapping, chessboard, and 454.
And we get free passes to come meet John Cleese, right?
Yeah.
We'd love you to come.
All right. The phone number?
858-454-0347.
And the website?
Warwicks.com.
Easy peasy.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you so much for coming
Awesome.
in.
Thanks for being with us.
This was great. Thank you very much.
You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego business and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find us on Facebook and let us know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after the break, after a word from our sponsors.